Al-Jaafari says the UN Security Council should hold Saudi Arabia, Qatar and Turkey responsible for supporting terrorism and spreading it in the region. Israeli occupation troops escalate their storming-in operations as the torch of the Palestinian Intifada flares up in occupied Jerusalem. Nuclear talks between Iran and the six powers continued in the Austrian capital Vienna in order to reach a final solution between the two sides. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Irado Krikorian from the News Center in Damascus. Syria's permanent representative to the UN, Dr. Bashar al-Jaafari, has said the UN still observes silence vis-à-vis terrorism-supporting countries, particularly Qatar and Saudi Arabia. Addressing a UN Security Council's session on terrorism, al-Jaafari referred to the presence of other loopholes befalling the UN Commission's work, particularly lack of response to the messages addressed by the Syrian government to the organization on ISIL use of missiles loaded with incendiary material against the inhabitants of Ain al-Arab and its attempt to introduce poisonous material into its weapons. Al-Jaafari said, and this is also in accordance with high-ranking American officials' statements, that despite the airstrikes on ISIL for more than 2 months now, thousands of foreign terrorist fighters are still crossing Turkish territories to join the terrorist organizations in Syria and Iraq. Al-Jaafari pointed out that the coalition led by the USA outside the framework of the UN is targeting oil and gas wells on Syrian lands, thus harming Syrian economy and negatively affecting Syrians' life. The Syrian Arab Army has eliminated a large number of terrorists and destroyed their equipment in Sarmin, the surroundings of Al-Krais village, Al-Hamama and the cork factory in Idlib countryside. Several armed men were also killed or wounded near Al-Kharab bridge in Al-War and in Kisin in Al-Rastan, as well as in Assan and Housh Hajjo in Homs suburb. Syrian Arab Army units also killed and injured many terrorists in Dar al-Adas in Daraa countryside and in As-Samdaniya and in Al-Qunaitira suburb. In Iraq, scores of ISIL terrorists have been arrested east of Al-Kerma district and southwest of Al-Fallujah in Al-Anbar. Iraqi troops also cleared the 600 province adjacent to Biji oil refinery of ISIL gangs who fled in the direction of As-Siniya district. The Iraqi army is still carrying out a large military campaign with the tribes' help to eliminate ISIL terrorists north and northwest of the country, killing hundreds of them and destroying their hideouts. Egyptian security forces arrested Muhammad Ali Bashar, a leader in the terrorist Muslim Brotherhood organization who worked as the former Minister of Development. The authorities accused Bashar of being a member in a terrorist network which calls for violence. Meanwhile, 4 police personnel were injured in a bomb blast in Hilwan on the southern outskirts of Cairo. The blast occurred shortly after a sound bomb also went off in Cairo main railway station in downtown Ramses Square. Israeli settlers broke at dawn today into Al-Aqsa Mosque under the protection of Israeli occupation troops and performed Talmudic prayers inside the holy site. Meanwhile, Israeli authorities have approved a plan to build 78 new settlement units in occupied Jerusalem. Israeli authorities issued warning threats to demolish houses and evacuate farmland in a Duke region west of Jericho. In another development, Israeli soldiers stepped up violent measures in Sur Baher village in occupied Jerusalem. Dozens of citizens suffered from suffocation in Nablus after Israeli troops fired tear gas at dozens of citizens. Finally, nuclear talks between Iran and the six powers continued in the Austrian capital Vienna in order to reach a final solution between the two sides. Iran's Foreign Minister Mohammad Jawad Zarif, who has been in Vienna since Tuesday, said a deal was possible, but only if the six powers did not ask for too much. He pointed out that if the other side shows the political will to reach an accord and doesn't make excessive demands, a deal could be done. Meanwhile, media sources reported a tangible progress in the Vienna negotiations as French sources revealed Saudi threats to Paris to stop the arms deals between the two sides. With this, we conclude our news for today. Thank you for watching. For more details about Syria and the region and to view this bulletin again, you can always visit our website in English, syriaonline.sy. Now to latest business and market news with Karun Kürkcan, but after a short break.